Call
Unfortunate.
meeting to order, Worthington City Council regular meeting, 5:30 PM, Monday, June 24th, 2024. City Hall Council Chambers. If I can have everybody rise, say pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. We do have a addition to the agenda. Falls under administration case items resolution calling for a declaration of a local state of emergency. It's F.6 and number 6 under that.
Move to approve the agenda with the addition.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and second. Any other further? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Consent agenda, city council minutes, city council meeting minutes of June 10th, 2024. Minutes of boards, commissions, water and light commission, meeting minutes of June 17th, 2024, and bills payable. Motion to accept the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. On to city business, public utilities.
Good afternoon. At their April 15th, 2024 regular meeting, Water and Lake Commission conducted a review of the current commission bylaws. Based on that discussion, amendments were presented to and unanimously approved by the commission at their May 6, 2024 meeting. The commission approved amendments include increasing the maximum number of consecutive full terms a commissioner may serve from 3 to 5, changing notifications for expected absences at meetings from the current bylaws say the commission secretary or city clerk. They're proposed to be amended to say commission secretary or general manager. Changing the advance notice for commissioner requested items to be placed on the agenda from 48 hours to 72. Reason for that is the agendas go out 48 hours prior to the meeting, and it's hard to get a request to add something at the deadline to send out the agenda. And then lastly, cleaning up Article 7, Section 5 regarding rates to be consistent with the city charter. And essentially that section had referred to Chapter 3 of the city code. I can't even find a Chapter 3 of the city code. So it's essentially subject to any ordinances as the city council may adopt. Article 8, Section 1 of the bylaws provide the bylaws may be amended by a 2/3 vote of the commission. The commission did vote unanimously on the changes, and then subsequent approval by the city council. So the request is the city council approve the amendments.
Question, Chris?
How long is the term?
3 years.
Okay, and what was the reasoning for going from 3 terms to 5?
3 to 5, and we did some research on this a number of years back. It's not the first time we've tried to do this or requested the change, but it takes a while. The utility business is relatively complicated. It takes a while to get your feet under you. I'm aware of a number of commissions. 9 years seems to be pretty short. There are a number of utility commissions. There are no term limits at all. So the discussion was, now it doesn't commit somebody to serving 15 years. They get an opportunity every 3 years to decide whether or not they want to re-up or not. As everybody knows, it's getting more and more difficult to find people that are willing to do it. So if you get somebody that's willing to do it and willing to stay for a while, why not give them an opportunity to do so?
What kind of turnover have we had on the utility?
Really not much. Really not much. Most of our commissioners have served their full 9 years and turned out.
I would move to approve the proposed amendments to the bylaw.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
All right, and the second item I've got for you, utility staff was recently contacted by a representative from Great River Energy inquiring about the possibility of leasing the property that contains the east water tower over on County Road 5 to be used as a laydown yard for materials and equipment associated with the upcoming electric transmission construction project. This will be a new transmission line coming in from the east that, quite honestly, we've been waiting for a long, long time. So we're really excited about the project. Exhibit 2 contains a lease agreement that was drafted based on language contained in previous lease agreements. We've had, I think, 3 different parties lease that property since we've owned it. It was presented to Great River Energy for consideration. They have indicated their acceptance of the proposed terms of the agreement. Water and Lake Commission unanimously approved the lease agreement at their meeting on June 17th and recommend that City Council approve the agreement and authorize the mayor and clerk to execute on behalf of the city.
Chad?
I saw in there that you have a set rate at 1,500, I believe it was. Do you have any provisions in there to be able to bump that at any point, or what would you have to do to increase that any period that you feel necessary?
They anticipated, when I talked to them, it was an interesting conversation because they said they were in a very unique position that they've got vendors that are ready to deliver material now, which is very unusual in the electric industry these days. But they anticipate no more than a year that they would be there.
Oh,
So we originally put it down as a 1-year term. If you notice, Article 5 indicates that they could actually exit the lease sooner than a year by giving a 30-day notice.
I just assumed it would take longer, so that's why I was asking.
No, I
Okay.
think they're planning on starting construction sometime this winter, and it won't. Yeah, and I'm sure they've got other laydown yards further
Okay.
along the route.
Okay.
This is approximately a 30-mile transmission stretch, so I'm
Yeah.
sure they're going to have a number of.
That's why I was thinking that maybe they were gonna use this as a main and they'd use it for a few years, and that's why I was asking if there was any provisions, but thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Move to approve the agreement and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the agreement.
Second. Motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, thank you, folks.
Moving on to administration business. First item is designated of official city representative to Cuero, Texas for the 2024 Turkey Fest and authorization for reimbursement of expenses. Turkey Fest is scheduled for October 11th through 13th, 2024. Travel days tentatively will be October 10th to Cuero and October 13th back to Worthington. Section 4.17 of the city charter, historical partnerships, provides that council may authorize expenditures for one or more designated city officials to serve as official city Worthington representatives to Kreilscheid, Germany, Cuero, Texas, and such other destinations that have a historical partnership or significance to the city. Rick Von Holt, Mayor, represented the city of Worthington and Cuero in 2023. Council action is requested to designate an official representative to Cuero in October 2024 and authorize reimbursement for their expenses.
Rennie, are you interested in going?
Harvesting.
Huh?
That's
Harvest time, that's your,
I am going, but that doesn't mean I have to be the designee.
If I'm staying back, I go to real shot, so.
Okay, council member,
I have not, but
you haven't gone?
no, but
I
that's
should
okay.
go.
Move to designate council member Chad Cummings as our designated official city rep for the Cuero, Texas 2024 Turkey Fest.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried.
Sure you don't want?
all right, next item is request for approval of travel and related expenses to Kreilscheid's 2024 Folk Fest. Oberburgermeister Christoph Grimmer invited the mayor and a delegation of up to 50 people from Worthington to attend this year's Folkfest in Krailsheim. Folkfest will be celebrated from September 20th to the 23rd. It's requested that reimbursement of allowable travel and related expenses to the 2024 Folkfest are made to the mayor. Again, section 4.17 of the charter grants council authority to approve expenditures for one or more designated officials to serve as representative destinations that have a historical partnership, which are Krailsheim, Germany, and Coral, Texas. Council action is requested to approve the travel expenditures. You have already
Yes,
been able to
right,
put those dates in.
yes.
Any other council people going?
That was the first I heard about the invitation, so. When did that come from the city of Crossland?
A while ago, we had put it on, it was sent out and everything, yeah,
I just missed it.
yep,
That's all right.
so. Do we need to make a motion on that one? Make a motion that the mayor goes to Folkfest.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried.
All right, next item, rescind the current investment policy and adopt a new policy. City staff invest public funds in a manner that provides the highest investment returns with the maximum security while meeting daily cash flow requirements. City's current investment policy was adopted by the council in August of 1986. It was subsequently amended in January of '89 and again in March of 1989 and in December of 2012. Staff requested that Ellers, the city investment advisor, review the current policy and provide recommendations on updating or assisting with preparing a new policy. Ellers' recommendation was to rescind the current policy and adopt the new policy that was included as Exhibit 1. The policy as presented conforms to all state and local statutes governing the investment of public funds. Council action is requested to rescind the current investment policy, adopt a new policy as presented, and approve the resolution included in Exhibit 2. And I will, just to briefly explain some of the differences, the current policy referenced positions that didn't exist within the city and called out specific statutes that have changed and renumbered or something. And so the way the current policy, which follows all of the, I went through all the reference to the Minnesota statutes that reference that, city investments. I went through and looked at each of those references, and which are spelled out within the new policy and written in a manner that as the state may change those sentences or terminology within the statute, that our policy would remain consistent with whatever the state may adopt in the future. So that is really what has prompted that. We just wanted to make sure the policy was current and easier to follow in for those come after us in the future.
Move to approve the investment policy.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, the next item is adoption of conflict of interest policy. On occasion, we receive requests from government and non-government partners for a copy of the city's conflict of interest policy. This occurs most frequently from entities that are considering the award of grant opportunities. The city does not have an adopted conflict of interest policy, and staff is requesting council adopt the policy that was presented in Exhibit 3.
Questions?
This is mainly to have put a check in the box on
Yeah.
various third-party grant applications.
I move
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Approval of Minnesota West athletic signage be placed at the JBS Fieldhouse. The City and Minnesota West Community and Technical College entered into an agreement to establish a long-term arrangement for the shared use of the JBS Fieldhouse and as an enhanced training facility for their athletic and law enforcement programs. Under the terms of the agreement, Minnesota West agreed to pay the city a one-time fee of $200,000, which was received on June 10th of 2024. These funds are dedicated for future facility improvements. These funds were placed in the city's equipment revolving schedule designated Fieldhouse account. The agreement included a requirement that the city provide exterior backlit signage on the facility with logos of the Minnesota West Blue Jay branding. Included in Exhibit 4 is a proposal from Barron's Sign Works or a rendering of the approved signage and the associated cost. Council action is requested to approve the sign and authorize staff to order and pay for the sign with funds received from Minnesota West. And I want to add that we had also reached out to the school district to see if they're interested in putting up a similar sign. And I was informed that the school board did approve that at last week's meeting. The cost for the sign for Minnesota West is $10,508.17. That would be paid out of the proceeds that we received from Minnesota West. The Worthington Trojan sign is $10,083.27, and that would be paid by School District 518.
Do you have placement on there? Like,
I'm sorry?
do you have proposed placement on the building?
It's one of those pictures,
Goes Minnesota West, yeah.
and the Trojan one goes in space adjacent to it,
On the other side of the window?
on the other side of the window, yes. For whatever reason, the rendering that Barron sent me shows both signs in place. When I try to print it and make copies, it will only show a portion of the
You have to-
rendering.
You have to copy it and paste it into a Word document and then it will work.
What side of the buildings
That would be facing Second Avenue.
On the quote, it says completion spring of '22.
Yeah, I know, I saw that typo,
He
Fast work. Back in time for it.
So if approved, I will notify Barron's that both signs have been approved and he can get started working on it. And we will, from our look at the building, there's a girt that runs right at that window height. That would be a good metal structure to fasten those signs to. And we have electric running right along that wall, so it should be fairly easy to tap into.
I'm assuming these are UV protected and stuff.
We'll have to ask that.
from fading, probably, yeah.
Move to approve the signage.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, the final administration business is a resolution calling for a declaration of a local state of emergency. Chapter 12 of Minnesota statutes provides that cities may declare a local state of emergency due to the occurrence of natural and other disasters to protect the public peace, health, and safety, and preserve lives and property. Council action is requested to pass the resolution that was included as Exhibit 5, declaring a local state of emergency for conditions resulting from the flooding event that began on June 21st, and this local emergency would be in place for a period not to exceed 30 days. We did declare statute allows an immediate declaration of a state of emergency declared by the mayor only. That was done yesterday. That is good for only 3 days, so it's, unfortunately, our schedule allowed the council's meeting the following day. The problems that we're encountering are really not severe compared to many of our neighbors. declaring the state of emergency is one of the steps necessary for us to be eligible for FEMA funding and reimbursement. That we are tracking our losses and expenses.
Overtime and all that.
Overtime,
All that.
yes, we're tracking all of the man hours, and I just want to say our Public Works Department worked many hours over the last several days. We had people from the wastewater group, the water group, the electric group, law enforcement was out there. We had people put in a lot of long days and nights and overnights, and I'm lucky to have such a good group.
Absolutely. Yes, Chris.
What, obviously the benefits of declaring emergency, we qualify for, but what are some actions, that administratively, that the city, will benefit from, or what does declaration of emergency, do other than that?
I suppose if we wanted to, I know when we declared one during COVID, and it gave the city administrator additional authority to make decisions that may have come up that needed to be in place prior to, without having to call a full council to make some of those decisions. We have no intention of going that route. This is really a bookkeeping issue. Because we have pretty much taken care of everything that has arisen to this point, just on the staff level. One of the things we had to evacuate one of the apartment buildings and relocate some of the residents, and we are paying for that at a hotel. This is all eligible for FEMA reimbursement, but I guess that was the one decision that was made without, it was just made administratively, that we had to get the people out. And Todd, if you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, in past ice storms, FEMA related stuff, the first 24 hours are covered regardless of what you do or who you have, all your labor, materials, whatever we did. Then the emergency declaration that we did is for 3 days. That is also, you have to have this in place for FEMA to approve any of this possible funding. So this is just another process to make sure that we are eligible for that, any reimbursement that we may get, so.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing too is, we have affected areas that are still affected and underwater, and probably are going to be for the next few days, that by doing this, the 3-day would end, and then once you find out all these other things, to not have to go through the loopholes of, well, it was done when we were in state of emergency opposed to not. This just gives us a bigger window to find.
Covers the collateral damage.
Yeah, all the things that we don't know yet, because we haven't been able to get to them, so.
Yeah, once the water recedes, we'll then be able to confirm if we have any further damage,
Washouts or something even around the lake or
so.
I would move to approve declaring a state of emergency for the allotted time.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
Hello. First item, approve change order for mill and overlay. The council awarded the mill and overlay project to Dunning Inc. at the June 10th council meeting. Given that this bid is approximately 20% lower than engineer's estimate, staff prepared a change order to add a short block of Linda Lane from South Shore Drive to Hillcrest Avenue. This will result in an approximately $31,000 increase. Exhibit 1 is the prepared change order. Staff recommend the approval of change order number 1.
Jed, what were we under on the bid opening that allowed for this to happen? Does this eat up all of that and get us to where we had thought we were going to be?
It'll be very close to, yep.
Okay, I just wanted to see if it was, is it 28,000 over?
I'm
or
trying
was
not
it-
to go exceed that.
Perfect, that's what I was
Increase.
getting at. This
Yes.
fits in the window of what
I
we
didn't
were
want to add too
estimating.
much, yes.
Yep, okay.
Move to approve the mill and overlay from wherever it is, Linda Lane to Southburn to Hillcrest.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Approve resolution supporting East Okabena Lake Trail. On February 12th, 2024, council approved to prepare and submit a local trail connection program grant application to DNR for East Okabena Lake Trail project. One of the requirements for the application is to provide a council-approved resolution supporting the project. A resolution included in Exhibit 2 states that the city is obligated to provide 20% matching fund and maintenance period of no less than 20 years once the grant is awarded to the city. Staff recommends that the council pass the resolution.
What is this earmarked for upcoming as far as doing this? Is this the one that goes underneath the railroad tracks
Yes.
down Sherwood?
Yep.
And what's the timeline on that?
Construction, we're looking at 2027.
Move to approve the resolution of support.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Last item, call for a public hearing portion of Highway 59 reconstruction and jurisdictional transfer. MnDOT is proceeding with plans for reconstruction of Highway 59 from approximately half a mile north of intersection 90 to Highway 60 in Worthington. The project includes safety improvements at several intersections, grading and pavement, storm sewer, sanitary sewer, and water main replacement, lighting and sidewalk. The section of Highway 59 just south of Interstate 90 to Highway 60 will be jurisdictional transfer turnback to the city of Worthington after construction. Representative of MnDOT will attend the public hearing to present the final layout and answer any questions as required by statute. Council action is requested to call for a public hearing to be held on August 12th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. in the council chamber.
Steve?
Some of you may think this sounds familiar. So, we did this a month ago, and then discovered that the public notice was never published in the newspaper. And we had a misunderstanding of MnDOT, since it was their public notice that they were taking care of getting it published. And when we followed up at one point, we found out that it had not been published in the newspaper, so we're starting over. So, and they did forward us the actual public notice, and Mindy will take care of getting it in the newspaper this time.
For MnDOT.
Or, no, Mindy's gonna take care of it.
No, for
For
MnDOT.
MnDOT, yeah, their public notice.
MnDOT will pay for it.
And, so, and the public notice has, the public hearing can't be held for a minimum of 30 days after it appears in the newspaper, which will occur on July 3rd, a week from this Wednesday, and then that aligns with the August 12th public hearing. So, if it sounded familiar, it was.
Move to approve the request for public hearing for August 12th, 2024, 5:30 p.m. in the council chambers.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to committee reports. I have nothing.
I have nothing.
I want to just do another shout out to Public Works Department, Todd, Steve, law enforcement, everybody else who helped during so much rain, so much water. So definitely appreciate everything you guys do. You were definitely be commended for being willing and available to help.
Chris?
I totally agree with Amy on that. You know, the employees had probably flooding issues of their own, and they were willing to spend time helping everybody else, so dittos to the crew, but I have nothing else to report.
Chad?
Echoed, and also an invitation to everyone to the July 3rd Radio Works Beach Bash at Centennial Park, where all the proceeds benefit local organizations. We've added a couple little things. The Elk Lodge is doing a fundraiser by giving away a camper, and they're going to do the giveaway that night. So that will be happening there. The Christian school and St. Mary's School have all the inflatables and everything there that they use to raise funds for the year. So that'll be there for the kids. The Hockey Association assists the city staff in stage setup and tear down, so they'll be benefiting from that. And then, of course, we've been fortunate to be able to put, I forget what it is now, we're at $50,000 towards Lake Oak Community Improvement Association funds, which is more than they've ever had, and that'll be happening again. So July 3rd, Centennial Park, it is no cost. The only thing is food and the beverages that you buy there. In addition, Beach Nook turns out pretty good for that. All those people benefit from those funds spent at it. And seating is free, and we got a couple good acts again, and then you can enjoy it with family and friends. So come on out.
I've been invited to have a seat at the dunk tank.
Perfect. Let me know what time.
Probably later. My brother's going to be down from Alaska, so.
I'll make time.
All right.
Yeah, do you have anything else?
I do not.
Okay, so as the decision was made yesterday to evacuate residents from, I guess, what I refer to as the in-town apartments, I don't know what they go by, if they still go by that or not. The bottom level apartments are below grade, and they had all flooded and sewer back up, and we were having problems with people that disregarded our barricades. So in a fit of aggravation, I ordered trucks parked down there to block the road completely. We have a total of 7 rooms at the Norwood Inn that are being used. Not everyone, you can't force people to leave. We cut the power to the lower level. So right now there are people in 7 hotel rooms at the Norwood Inn that have been displaced. Don't know what the short-term or long-term situation will be, if and when they'll be able to move back in. We are paying for that at this point because since they're city residents, it falls under our responsibility according to our county emergency management. They are looking at Red Cross housing in Jackson, although with some of the other issues going on between from west of us all the way up to Mankato, I think Red Cross might be sitting tight on any shelter that they may have. So we'll be continuing to monitor how that pans out. Received a call from Congressman Finstad's office today notifying us that we had applied for what was called a RAISE grant for the Highway 59 Turnback project, and Congress awarded that to us for a total of $15.1 million. The specific benefit to the city is what was not included in our roadway project was the short block west of McMillan on Oxford Street between, Humiston, from Humiston to Smith. That was going to be a local cost. That was included in this grant application. The other benefit is that MnDOT did not have full funding for this project specifically for our project, so they were having to take funds from other projects and put them off into the future. This will now allow MnDOT to fund more projects, whether we don't know if they would stay in District 7 or that would be statewide, but it will benefit many of us receiving that grant. And I had conversations with Senator Weber, Representative Fogelman, and Congressman Finstad's office all reached out today and over the weekend to check on how we were doing with our flooding. And compared to many other people, we are coming through this with relatively few problems. And told them we didn't need them to stop and visit here. So focus on those that have some real difficulties ahead of them. So,
Thank you.
but thanks to our
Yep, Chris.
elected representatives.
Can we, could you give us a brief summary of, like the, where we're at as far as like our fresh water supply, our wastewater,
Everything.
any issues concerned
We-
with the flooding?
We have no issues with any of our utilities. Our wastewater, I guess I haven't, we were with them yesterday, but nothing on wastewater. The water treatment is, there are no issues there.
As you know, they put pumps in. They did have some backup through this process, which they do a lot of times when we get a bunch of rain like this. So they've got those pretty much contained as much as they could, and they're back to normal. We had no electric issues that I'm aware of at all. Their wastewater plant is working just like it's supposed to. So it was just some minor infrastructure things in town. We did have a stormwater lift pump that burned out. We do have two backups that we have working now in that Centennial lift station. The last I looked was about 3:30, and I believe we were down about, the lake's down about just a little over 8 inches from where it was when it peaked at 4:30 Sunday morning is when it crested AM. And so we're going down. Wind didn't help us today with the waves. That's why you're still seeing water. If the wind goes down tonight, of course, if we don't get any rain, heavy rain or whatever, but if the wind goes down or wind comes out of the north, I think you'll see the lake not be overflowing anymore, and this should all go away. So best case scenario, we all wake up tomorrow morning and things are dry down there. We'll get our street sweepers going, try to clean up the best we can, and then it's just from there we see what we can do.
Thank you.
I think the storm lift station was the end of Todd's rope, and I was requested to take him for a drive around the lake. So we went for a tour around town for about a half an hour.
Cool down.
Sometimes you just have to take a deep breath.
Get him some ice cream?
I would like to state too that a number of people have either asked, requested, commented. There was concerns of, were the gates opened on the diversion at Oxford and Diagonal. Yes, they were very early on Friday. It's been open ever since. It is diverted. If you've seen the tens of millions of dollars spent on that project to create the holding behind Ryan's Road and stuff, it has got a bunch of water in it, and it is still getting bunches of water in it. But you can't just, everybody thinks you just flip it and open that thing the whole way, and then we'd have how many more houses flooded, or erosion and plugs and...
I can give you a little update on that. As you know, engineering staff and those guys have been working on that new water retention area. We've seen it all, take this portion out of the flood zone and this portion out of the flood zone. Right now, we can only open up those diversion gates until the culvert underneath McMillan is full. If we raise it any more than that, if we manipulate that level in that creek any more than that, and anything floods, then the city is liable for flooding on Bristol or Westover or anything. So that hinders how much we can put in there. As the storm drains and stuff, as the days go by and the storm drains quit running into that creek, we can increase. Right now, we've got it open as far as those gates will go. And we have for the last 20 some hours. We've been adjusting that. That's one of the things that we come in and do. And We're in there, it takes about an hour from the time we open them up to the time we see it at McMillan, so we have to, we don't wanna flood anybody out. We can only also raise and sandbag the lake level, just a certain amount, because otherwise we jeopardize flooding. There's a number of residents on, Lake Okabena who have retaining walls, and we can't go over that, or otherwise the city is liable for damages that we cause by manipulating the lake level for them. So we're kind of hindered in what we can do, and we have it right down to a fine set of circumstances. So, and I want to give a shout out to my staff, to Chad Nickel, the street superintendent, and all my guys. Steve and I were dealing with another organization this weekend, and we were told there were a number of calls made and they were never returned. They were not returned calls, not our organization. And I want to just commend my guys, because there wasn't one time that I called Mr. Robinson that they didn't answer the phone and they didn't come in. And they were in knee-deep water and lightning and, putting out barricades, and it's not a pleasant job, but they were out there pulling grates and doing everything. So my job was here to show them what to do or try to, keep them going, but they're the ones that did it. So, and I've said this all along, and all these things that we do, it's my guys. We got a tremendous staff, and I couldn't do it without them.
I agree. Yeah, Chad.
The reason I brought that up was because people have commented and made it publicly commented that we need to do more, and I wanted to make that known that everything that was done that would not hinder or hurt anyone else or create any more issues was done, and that the tens of millions of dollars that have been done in projects have alleviated a lot of areas from flooding, and we're in the process of redoing how much more through the projects we've just endorsed in the last 6 months to even alleviate that further. Plus, there is lots ongoing that the street departments have been doing in replacing the streets and stuff, just so those people that question whether or not the focus of the city is to do whatever. Is there ever going to be a time, Todd, that in front of the atrium that we receive 3+ inches of rain in a 2-hour or less span that we will not see water there?
No. I mean, we have some serious infrastructure down there, and it's an issue that it flows under houses, and there's a lot of technical stuff to it. It would cost millions and millions and millions of dollars to try to fix that. We will see some flooding down there, but it will go down. This is a totally unique situation. I've never seen this in the 30 years I've been here. That waters actually came out of the lake. We've had it close before, but this is the first time, and I believe people have told me since 1969, and I can verify that, but we actually have water coming out of the lake, and that doesn't happen. The dam is running at full capacity. It's just more water than we can take, and it's just that the ground is saturated, and then everything that it rained and run off. I've seen where we've had more rain in a week's time than we've had now, and we haven't had this issue. It's just a combination of things, and you can see that all over the upper Midwest. I mean, it's not just us. We are, like I told Steve, very, very lucky.
It was so widespread.
Yes.
It wasn't localized, so it was so widespread, so there's nowhere for it to go.
Yeah, it was just everywhere. So,
Everything was so supportive.
Yeah, it's so saturated, there's no place to go.
yeah, it's not us. We're very lucky here. I mean, there's some hardships, and I don't say that lightly. I mean, some people have some serious damage, and I feel bad for them. But we had, as far as I know, we had no injuries. We had nothing like that. It's personal property. But I mean, there's people that are leaving entire towns and stuff. So I mean, and businesses, and so while it's tragic that we got what we got, we are lucky that it's at the extent it is. And like I said, and you guys can help by making sure that this new water retention portion, whatever we need to do for grants or matching funds or whatever, that would have been a huge advantage if we'd had that at this process. Because I could have diverted a lot more water rather than coming from the lake, but I'm kind of know where I'm at. So, but it's coming, and if we get that done, that'll help, and we'll just continue to work on those things.
Yeah, it's a multi-year, multi-decade process.
Yeah.
And to fix the flooding and stormwater problem, we have to start way downstream and then work our way back. And with this next phase, if we can get that to go, that's gonna give us the storage then we can start focusing on the individual pipe network that's in this downtown area and get that upsized to, if we upsized it now, it still wouldn't have any place to go and it would just flood someplace.
And that was one of our problems. Our ditch was full, the limited area there by Bristol, and McMillan, and so the water just can't go anywhere. Just like Whiskey Ditch, we had water on Elmwood and West Clary, way up there. And
On top of the hill.
and it couldn't go anywhere because the Whiskey Ditch was so full and it just couldn't get there. So, I mean, that's just,
We use snow plows to
Yeah, I was
push the
saying.
water down.
yeah, we use
Interesting that snowplows were going down the road and saying,
we used box scrapers to push it down the hill, and the kids had a great time. They just slid right down the hill with it, and they thought that was great. But, like I said, our organization should be commended for the, from Mr. Robinson through you guys, all the way down to my guys. They answered the call and would have made it a lot bigger headache if we wouldn't have all those guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for your update. Move to adjourn.
Motion is seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.